as long as the timer's going, then we're going.
I know, but we've had instances in the past.
Well, dead batteries and everything else like that. So we're rolling.
Welcome back to another edition of Sequel Podcast 2020.
Or as, you know, the Disney cast.
Or the locals call it.
The Disney cast, since the last time we podcasted was...
Star Wars.
Star Wars, which is owned by Disney, I guess. And then before that would have been when I went to Disneyland. Right. And you... Did you go to Disneyland last year?
Yeah.
And you went to Disneyland?
Yeah.
So I'm Matt Bonta.
And I'm Cory Easley.
This is the sequel podcast.
This is the sequel to the last sequel.
The one and only, if you will.
For now, under copyright infringement.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a couple of months, I think.
No, just 1 month. You said a couple.
It feels like a couple.
Right before, I think, New Year's.
Okay.
Because we watched Star Wars.
Yep.
Have you seen anything? Did you go see any movies? Did you watch anything on DVD?
I watched some movies on the plane. So we flew from Reno to Orlando, and we had one stop in Houston. We had to switch planes. It's a small airport, smallish.
Is it really?
But it's not a big airport. It's not like if you go to Dallas, Fort Worth. That's a big ass fucking airport. Like you gotta.
I've been to Denver.
You gotta get on a bus to change terminals. Like Denver.
Sure, LA does that.
Yeah. So in Denver.
Have you been to the Denver?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So in Denver.
Denver's got a train, I believe.
Yeah. So what it is if you come to the Denver airport, you go through security. You go through security at the main building, and then you take a tram or shuttle or whatever. It's a train.
I don't think I ever
shuttle.
had to take one, and I've flown to and from.
So maybe depending on what terminal you're at.
Sure.
But I guess there's a terminal. So the one time that we did, we had to ride the bus back, not the bus, but the train back from the terminal, and then out to the terminal the next day.
Vegas has trains too.
I don't think I've ever flown into Vegas.
Yeah, Vegas has some trains. It's big-ish.
Yeah,
I guess. Like I've
been out like into LAX and then out and back.
I think
it was like an overnighter.
I think Vegas more has trains to like once you get off of a plane to get to a certain
area.
Exit.
Okay, that makes sense.
A certain area where people can pick you up or whatever.
Yeah. So Houston, we didn't leave the airport. Obviously, we just switched planes. But it felt like everything.
So you were off and on and left?
Off and on, and then flew out again. So I mean, we didn't even have time to get food. Like we got some like pre-made sandwiches at one of the shops there.
On the way to it.
Yeah, like we got out, everybody to use the bathroom, change the baby. I'm trying to get sandwiches. We almost missed our boarding group. Like it's a pain in the ass. So traveling with kids.
It's like Home Alone.
I don't know if you've ever flown. Yeah, it's just like Home Alone. Like, dude, I have a story, and it didn't happen, but it was something that it was like a fleeting thought while we were at the parks. And Home Alone.
We'll get there.
Bring that up.
Okay, we'll get there.
But flying with kids is a chore.
In what way? Because I've flown with
little kids, like baby, like diaper size.
We had one with us.
Okay.
Not diaper size.
Okay, did they fly in the lap? Did they sit on their parents' lap, or did they have their own seat?
I think she had her own seat.
Okay, so we did that too. We bought him a ticket, and we took his car seat.
Well, now hold on. So there's 4 of you.
Yeah.
Rarely do planes have 4-seaters.
Right.
Some have them in the middle. Right.
Right. Some of the bigger airlines, like international airlines,
they'll have 2, 4, and 2.
Something like that. Yeah, like the bigger international planes. Most of them are 3. Yeah, on either side of the aisle. I've been on smaller planes that were like 3 and 2.
Or 2 and 2.
Or 2 and 2. Yeah, I've been on some puddle jumpers. When we flew into Seattle, flew out of Seattle, Portland. When we went to Seattle, drove down to Portland, and we flew back to Reno from there. We flew Alaska, and I don't remember the model of the plane, but it was a turboprop, which 2 or 4 big fucking props is like a mini C-130. Dude, this thing was noisy.
I might have been
not as fast as like your average jet, like your Airbus 800 or whatever the fuck they are. But yeah, so it was basically.
I think coming home from Japan from LA to Reno might have been a small plane.
Yeah, some of the weird, hops you have to take a smaller plane.
And like we loaded a lot of people.
We loaded on the tarmac.
What do you mean?
Opposed
to
you
going
from you take the steps down to the blacktop, and
yeah.
then you take the steps up into the airplane instead of taking.
That's always fun.
The walk. It's fun because you're out on the. In fact,
like waving goodbye like you're the president,
right? That's kind of what it feels like because usually you go through this little hallway and you get in the plane and.
We did a lot of that when we went to the Philippines. We did a lot of flying when we were in the Philippines though, because you got to go from island to island. Yeah, island hops. So you got to get on planes and.
Yeah, the fastest way to do it, right?
Or the only way to do it, outside of maybe like what do they call it? Ferry?
A ferry,
yeah.
If they're close enough, right?
Right.
Like we took a ferry in Washington.
It's straight because we did a ferry and we drove on.
It's weird, right? It's like a parking garage.
Everyone's sitting, and it was like, but we did it like early in the morning.
Right.
So everyone's just sitting in the car, and it's dark and no one's talking. It's just a really weird. Like everyone's
did you stay in
tired.
The car?
We stayed in the car.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're sardined it.
I didn't know if we were allowed to stay in the car.
Well, I mean, it being dark.
Yeah.
I don't know what the situation would have been during the day, and we weren't on there for very long. I don't think.
Because our ferry that we took across the Puget Sound up in Washington, when we went to Forks, that was the whole purpose of the trip.
To go see where Twilight was.
To go to Forks.
Twin Washington. Forks?
Twin Forks, whatever. Twin
is
Forks.
It Twilight?
Twilight, yeah. That's where the setting is, right?
Yes.
This was a long time ago. Like, back when it was still fresh.
You know what? Say what you will about Twilight, but that is a genius idea.
Absolutely.
Of vampires living in a town where it's constantly overcast.
Yeah. I mean, some of the lore that they put in there about the sparkly and
I don't know. I haven't.
I'll leave the lore alone.
But that's
you can have it.
Genius concept.
Absolutely.
Of like, I'm gonna go live where it's always overcast, so I can hang out during the day.
Yeah, hiding in plain sight.
It might be a little warm,
right? And then on sunny days, you don't go anywhere. You stay home.
Right.
So it's kind of an elegant solution to the vampire problem, right?
Right.
But anyway, the ferry that we took, it was a long ride. It was like an hour and a half.
Oh, shit. And you were in the car the entire time?
No. So
I guess an hour and a half.
Yeah, so we roll on, and you put your fucking, I don't know, whatever, your pass on the dashboard.
Sure.
And then you bail. And it's like a parking garage.
Why would you even have a pass? Like, you would think
they
you
give
wouldn't be
you a
able
ticket.
to get on without...
You go through the gate, you pay the thing. I don't know if you paid before or after.
Did you give them your keys to park it?
You're supposed to leave the keys in the car.
But did they park it for you?
No.
See, then again, why would you need to? Yeah.
I don't remember. I just remember leaving the pass on the dashboard.
I get leaving the keys.
Right. Just in case.
In case maybe you're like, I'm going to fucking ditch my car. There's a dead body in here. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I just talked myself out of the situation.
So.
There's drugs, there's money, there's dead bodies.
But we bailed out, and then you could go
up.
You could. I don't know if it was a stairs or elevator or something.
It was like a party boat. You were fucking.
It was like a party. It was like a small cruise boat, and you could go.
Have you done those cruise boats?
I haven't done
like the MS Dixie and Tahoe.
No, I haven't done that yet. We've been talking about it with the kids. You gotta leave the kids with somebody overnight, and then we were gonna do a cruise this year.
You wouldn't even need to do it overnight.
Yeah,
you could just go and get on.
I forget about the Dixie cruise. It's like a day thing.
Oh, are you thinking about like?
I'm thinking like a cruise
real
boat,
cruise.
Like take a week cruise.
Right, then it would be more than just one overnight.
Yeah,
it'd be over a week.
So, there's some like 3-dayers and stuff. Like if you go down,
I think they're mostly like 4. Are there week-long ones?
There are short ones. You can go down and sail out of Fort Bragg.
You got the Disney boat, Disney Cruise Line.
They have these little short lines that go from like down the San Diego way, and they go down like Baja, down to Mexico, like right down to the tip of like Mexico City. They go to Cozumel, I think, is on that side. Mm-hmm. So a couple of little places on the western coast of Mexico, and some of the island or some of the coastal cities, the top of South America. Which are, I think, relatively short lines.
Okay.
But like you sail down and then fly back.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, what the fuck?
Well, like transatlantic cruises. A buddy of mine has done a couple of them now, and you fucking leave, off the East Coast, and you sail for fucking 5 days and you don't see shit. Mm-hmm. And then they port hop over the next several days on the Western European coast, where you see like Spain and
whatever's over there,
whatever's right there, and within quick succession, and then you get off the boat and you fly back. There's 5 days on the boat and you don't do anything. You're on the boat for 5 days and there's no port call.
It's just like a day's trip to fly back or whatever.
You can fly. It's like 14 hours. I think.
So instead of spending another 5 going back.
Right.
And they probably got a whole slew of tourists that are going to
get on. They probably go the other direction.
Right.
So yeah.
They're like, you paid for your 5, bro.
Or they port in, wherever, they pick a bunch of people up from there, and then they go down to wherever they would go, fucking Africa or Jamaica, or hit on the way back.
Right.
So yeah, we talked about doing that, but back to the topic: flying with kids.
Flying with kids.
It's not that it's that hard. It's just stressful.
Well,
because you have we're going from the 31st to the 11th.
31st of January.
Yeah, so we're going 10 days out of town. So we have the wife has a large suitcase. I have a large suitcase.
You need a week's worth of clothes.
Right. Next time, I think we're gonna pare it down and just do laundry while we're there. It's easier.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and if you're gone for that long, you gotta think like, am I bringing an empty bag for souvenirs?
We did. Uh-huh. So what we did was we had the 2 large suitcases, one for the old lady, one for me. Each of the boys had their own small, like, carry-on size suitcase, but we checked all of them.
Yep.
And then inside.
Well, no. See, what you could have done is, like, if you've got a big case and they've got small ones, you half and half, right? Mm-hmm. And then you've got half empty space on the way back. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you take the small case and put it into the big one, your stuff, their stuff, 2 and 2, and then you don't really need an extra empty bag.
I think I'll split it up differently next time so that we end up with an empty bag at some point. Because everybody gets 2 checked bags for free. Okay. So we checked the.
Who'd you fly with?
Southwest.
Southwest.
It was the cheapest.
Sure.
So we both had a big suitcase each. The boys each had a small suitcase each. And then we checked the stroller.
Does the baby really need his own bag?
Dude, babies go through a lot of clothes.
I mean, yeah, but the clothes are small clothes.
Right.
Like you or your wife couldn't have just rolled them up and shoved them into your bag?
I think we overpacked just because I didn't pack anything. The wife did the packing.
She did all the packing.
And it's not a dig on her. She was trying to think ahead. She was trying to make sure we had enough shit. Because we wanted to get through Disneyworld before we had to do laundry.
Right.
Which worked out. That was how it
go home with all dirty clothes, essentially. Right?
Well, because we do... So we left on the 31st. We get to Orlando. We go to the hotel. We rented a car while we were there. So we had the baby's car seat. That is a big...
You flew that?
We carried it on.
Because some cars come with?
They don't.
No, come on now.
I think you can rent a car with a car seat in it.
I think when we got a car, they just had like a little thing, like a little shed, that opened up and gave it to us.
Okay, so like I said, I think you can get one. The wife didn't want to do that. I don't remember. I don't know what the cause was, but we took his car seat, because he rode in it in the plane too.
Okay.
So we put buckled that into the plane.
There you go.
Because instead of having him, because he can't sit in a full-size person seat with a seatbelt on, it's not going to do him any good.
They do the lap thing, right?
The lap belt. So he could sit on your lap, but he's not going to sit still for 2 hours, 3 hours.
How long was the flight?
Reno
to Houston.
So Reno to Houston, I think, was like 1:45.
That's nothing.
Maybe 2:15, something like that.
That's nothing, because we're thinking of going to the Philippines with 2 babies.
Yeah, so the first leg...
Like 10-hour trips.
Right. That first leg going out was not that bad. Switch planes, everybody's okay. But then it's like... I want to say like 3:45 or 4 hours.
So about
like 4 hours 15.
About 4 hours.
By the time you plane, you get in, you sit down, they push back, and you take off, and you land, and you wait, and you get back up to the gate. Like, you're talking about like 4.5 to 5 hours in a plane.
Right.
Like, end to end. Like, the flight itself is like maybe 3 hours 45.
That's like me. I work 10 hours at work, but really it's a 12-hour situation from when I leave to when I go home.
Exactly, because you leave, you have to drive to work.
Well, you wake up, you get ready,
right.
You drive to work.
And you're committed to that task for that entire period of time. Plus you have your lunch and your break and whatever, and then you get home.
Driving home. It's a 12-hour turnaround.
Exactly.
4 to 4.
So, I mean, even if you work a standard, 8-hour day, it's 9 hours of time at work committed plus commute time.
Right.
So then you're talking 11, 12 hours
just
anyway.
Kill yourself now. So
yeah, exactly. It's not worth it.
About.
It's not worth it.
So when do I get to live in that time?
Good luck. When you figure that out, let me know. So then we fly into Orlando, get the car, go to the...
Was there any crying going on the plane?
Very little.
Did he sleep the entire time?
Most of it. And then the time he wasn't sleeping, I mean, maybe the whole trip, maybe like 30 minutes of crying total. Both ways.
Right.
Like, spread out over each of the flights.
Now,
like, there was a couple of times
what was the seating situation?
So, the car seat has to go by the window in a non-emergency exit row.
Really? Can't trust him to help everyone out with the time.
He's not trustworthy.
So, whoa. Don't put any judgments on my son, okay?
Yeah, what, just because he's a baby? He identifies as a full-grown man. So...
Well, you don't trust him?
I mean, I trust him to shit his pants.
But how do you know that I won't shit my pants in that situation?
Yeah, I mean, most adults probably would shit their pants, almost definitely.
So he's by the window.
So he sits by the window because he has to. Because they don't want him in the middle. Then people have to step over him, or you have to step over him to get out.
Hell, it's probably easier because he don't got legs in the way.
I mean, his legs straight out, touch the back of the seat.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
These fucking airlines, they put too many seats in. They
Cattle
don't
car.
have to.
Cattle car, dude. So he rides in the car seat. The wife sits in the center seat next to him. Mm-hmm. I think the first leg out, so to Houston and then to Orlando, in both planes. I think Callan sat next to her. And
so
then 1, 2, 3, and then I sat across the aisle on the end aisle seat.
With some strangers over here?
With strangers. I mean, they were whatever.
You didn't make any new friends. I know you. You're a talker.
Yeah, I mean,
You're a talker,
we chatted a little bit. But, like, it was a dude, like a young guy and his girlfriend, and they were, like, not my kind of people.
You didn't throw them any kind of life advice?
I made some dad jokes, and they kind of chuckled, but that's about it.
Who is this guy?
Who is this guy's weird?
I don't get it.
I don't get it. So I sat, on the way there, I sat across the aisle. And then I think, so the plane from Houston to Orlando, we almost missed, like, our boarding group. We ended up, like, at the tail end of our boarding group.
Yeah.
So when you fly with kids under 6,
you get first.
You get priority boarding between A and B. So they'll load A first, like business, like whatever, business class. People that pay extra, military handicaps, stuff like that. They get to load before everybody else.
Have you ever snuck on to when they don't call you? Like
they check your ticket. They're scanning your ticket.
I've snuck on before without them really they just
getting in.
They just assume that you're one of them.
They really don't care for the most part because it's not assigned seating.
Right.
So it's every man for himself.
Even with the assigned, and same goes the other way too with assigned seating. It doesn't really matter whether you go on first or last. I've been on planes with
assigned seating, and I actually prefer it. I prefer assigned seating because then everybody knows where they're going.
I haven't. So what you went on was not assigned seating. No, I haven't been on a non-assigned seating.
General admission.
Yeah, everything that I've done.
And Southwest used to be like that for the longest time. Like everything was just general, first come first serve.
Well, they found a way to monetize it.
Probably.
So they're like, okay, buy your plane ticket. Well, you could
probably buy a better ticket and get your
for another $14. You can choose your seat. Another couple bucks on that. It can be extra leg room.
Yeah.
Yada yada.
So, and the different airlines run it differently, and they make their money one way or the other. They're going to get it out of it.
Oh yeah, they're going to get it.
So, so on the way from Houston, Orlando, we almost missed our boarding group, and we didn't get in the priority boarding group for people with kids. So we were like, the fucking plane was almost full by the time we got there. There's only 3 boarding groups, A, B, and C. Mm-hmm. And we made it at the tail end of B, so we were like between B and C almost. And by the time we got on there, all the premium seats, windows and stuff, were all taken. Because most people either want to sit in the aisle or they want to sit in the window. Nobody wants to sit in the fucking
They've
window.
already got your luggage, so you're just carrying the car seat?
This is our carry-on situation.
Right.
So all our luggage and shit is checked. Like we checked
Should
that
be on the plane
in Reno.
already. Right.
We checked that in Reno.
Right, so you don't have to worry about that.
No fucking problem. I have a backpack.
Okay.
And it has, the DSLRs in there, my iPad's in there, my phone, my headphones, my fucking, my drawing pad, my entertainment stuff, right? And then I have some entertainment stuff for Callan. He's got a backpack that has some of his own entertainment stuff in it, like coloring books and shit. We really could have, because we had his own backpack for the whole trip. So that he would have coloring books and books and Pokemon cards and bullshit to fuck.
He always had it with him.
He had his own bag all the time, except for when we were in the parks. And then, so I have my backpack.
He didn't have a backpack?
Oh, I had the old lady shit too. Like her entertainment stuff. Yeah, her wallet and shit was in my bag. Because she had the diaper bag. Mm-hmm. So Callan has a backpack. I have a backpack. The old lady has a backpack. Callan has his booster seat.
Okay.
Which is not for the plane, but we couldn't fit it in the checked baggage, so he had to carry it on as his own carry-on, because you get a carry-on
He's still
and
on
a
a
personal
booster
item.
seat?
He's like a fucking inch and a half short of being right
Do you
there.
ever drive him around without being in a seat?
From the house, like to Sevi or something out in the valley, but I don't bring him to town without a seat.
Okay.
Just because the seatbelt really doesn't hit him in the right place. And I've read articles and seen accidents where there were kids involved and they got their fucking heads cut off because the seatbelt was in the wrong place.
Meanwhile, when you were a kid,
yeah, we had fucking lap belts and shit.
What's a booster seat? I never sat in anything.
Yeah, I had a booster seat when I was like under 5.
I want to say that I never sat in anything from my earliest memory on. Right. I was always sitting on the seat with the seatbelt on.
The last memory I have of a booster seat...
Then again, the adults never wore a seatbelt.
Right. Yeah, you didn't have to. When I was like 3, I think was probably the last time I remember sitting in a seat, because I had one, and it was in my dad's old pickup when we drove cross country. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't... It was funny, because it was a booster seat with one of the... It was the old... Okay. Like a booster with a little plastic arm that comes over, so it's just like a guard bar, like a roller coaster fucking belt, Sure. Like, it's not really keeping you in the seat, it's just keeping you from coming forward on the seat.
But the seatbelt will cover that, right?
Well, this was a 59 Ford pickup.
So and have seatbelts. No seatbelts, okay.
Yeah. So the booster seat was sitting in the truck, so I was sitting, basically so I could see out the windshield. Out the side windows, what my dad's theory was. Okay. Just so I could see out. And most of the time on that trip, it was way off topic, but I spent sitting on the floorboard of the truck playing with my cars. Like playing Hot Wheels and shit while he's going down the road. Fucking So, and I did get him pulled over and got him a ticket for not having my seatbelt on. Because,
oh, really?
Yeah, we got pulled over because he goes, don't turn around. So I flip the fucking booster seat open, stand up on the back of my seat, look out the back window. There's a trooper behind us, and I'm waving at him. Pulls us over, and the trooper's like, why isn't he buckled up? And the old man tells him, he's like, hey, the law says if the vehicle didn't come with a seatbelt from the factory, don't have to have one. Right. He goes, well, don't you think you should have one? Do you think you should put him in there? And he's like, yeah, probably should, but that's not the law. Right. This is my dad telling this fucking state trooper.
Getting lippy.
He wrote him a ticket anyway for not having me in a seatbelt. And he's like, well, you can discuss it with the judge.
Oh, goddamn.
So we're traveling cross country. We're like in fucking, Nebraska or some stupid shit. Middle of the fucking nowhere. Right. So my dad just pays the ticket. It was like $65 back then, right? Back in the fucking late 80s, early 90s.
Sure. All right,
So anyways, Houston, Orlando, we got fucked. The stewardesses, flight attendants, or whatever, they saw us coming and they hit somebody up. They're like, "Hey," they're looking around and they see us coming and they're like, "We need a window seat for this lady and her baby, so we need a window in the middle. Mm-hmm. So they go towards the back of the plane and they find somebody to move for us.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, we need somebody to give up a window seat.
A real Rosa Parks situation going on.
It really was. It was kind of funny, and like the flight attendant was this like very like outwardly gay looking, sounding like feminine kind of guy. Mm-hmm. And
don't judge.
I'm not judging him at all. It's like he just like that's how I can explain how this guy was. He was super. And he looks at me like across the top of all these people in the plane, and he's like, "I got you a seat," like, giving me the hand signals, and I'm like bitching because he sees me carrying this big ass fucking car seat, and I'm like, I have to hold it up over everybody, and then I got my backpack.
It's all right.
And I have my
your head?
My CPAP is in like a laptop bag, size bag, so I have that and my backpack and the car seat in my hands. And I'm like walking, trying not to belt anybody in the face, and I feel like an idiot. And I'm like getting like not dirty looks from people, but it's like roll. It's like, oh my god, these fucking people, like, get on the plane already. That's what it felt like. Like I just felt like visually attacked.
You're that guy now.
Yeah, I'm that guy. But after doing this a couple of times now, over the course of that travel, I had some older guys make comments to me. They were like, I'm like, sorry guys, sorry, I'm sorry, I try not to hit anybody with the things, and they're like, don't worry about it, man. It's like we've all been there.
Sure.
Like we've all flown with kids. We know what you're going through right now. The only difference is we're done. Our kids are grown, but we know what you're going through, so it's cool, dude. You're just paying your dues. Like, just do it.
Right.
So what I thought was people giving me dirty looks, with people basically like feeling bad for me for like, oh, dude, that fucking sucks.
Sure.
So he moved.
He got you 2 seats then.
He got us 2 seats, and then because we needed 2 for the baby and the old lady.
Right.
And then
I think
Callan, like that basically they gave up that whole row because there was an empty seat in that row already. She was sitting at the window, and there was a guy sitting on the end or something. So he sat. No, that's not what happened. She got us the middle and the window seat, and then Callan and I sat in the middle and the end, middle in the aisle, like 4 rows back from her. So we had to sit separate. So it was 2 and 2 that time. And then on the way home, we had to switch planes once, but we hit 2 airports. Which is weird. Like we land, but stay on the plane, and then take off again.
Okay.
So we had to switch planes the first.
So you went from Orlando to.
So, getting out of order. So we fly to Orlando, go to the room. We spent 4 days in the parks.
Well,
1 day apiece.
Well, I mean, we'll get to the parks. Let's just get to the end on the way home.
Yeah, on the way home flying, we had driven from Orlando to Pensacola, which is down in the Panhandle. So we flew out of Pensacola to...
Just because?
Well, we had the old lady has family in Pensacola.
Okay, so then maybe we shouldn't go to the end.
We're gonna get it.
Okay, so you got to Orlando.
We get to Portland. We get to Orlando, get the room. We stayed on property, which was really nice. It was the first time I've ever stayed like on Disney property.
Right.
And it's like you never leave the park.
Yep.
You still, you still have the cast members are working the
hotel.
The hotel and the stand, like the store. The front
Disney
office store. But it was like a bigger store. There was more shit available.
I'm so intimidated by Disney World. Like I feel like there's so much there.
Yeah, and
and you miss out. Did you miss?
Yeah.
So you didn't hit everything.
I'll get to that. My recommendations and
if you're gonna just go. Like I want to be like done with my life before I go to Disney World.
There's 6 parks.
Yeah.
If you do both water parks.
2 water parks.
There's 2 water parks. Animal Kingdom, Magic Kingdom, Epcot, and Hollywood Studios.
So yeah, it doesn't sound like I don't want to.
You can't do.
I don't want to go to Disney World if I have
You have to
commitments.
You basically have to.
I have to come home.
You have to say, I'm going to go to Disney World. We're gonna, if you can afford to spend one day in each park, of the non-water parks. To me, water parks, it's like, if we live there, maybe.
Sure.
Maybe
I can skip water parks. I don't even like going to water parks.
I don't care for them either. Like, I don't mind spending like a few hours in a water park. But I only go when, like, there's a kid's birthday party and my son or kids have to go.
Right, if it's a thing.
It's a thing. Or it's a family event or whatever, and we're going to go. Like, I'm not going, hey, guys, want to go to the Wild Waters?
So did you go to these water parks?
We did not. We've never been.
All right.
I've been to Disney World twice now, and I've never been to the water parks. So, and the first time we went was in August.
To?
When we went our honeymoon to Disney World.
Oh, so you've been there before?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought this was your first time.
No, this is the kid's first time.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But so one day in each park is all we did. You really need two. I mean, I would say, okay, so if it was just adults, like two people, like if you and Rose went, and you have any kids.
Or just you and your wife
or
went.
just me and the wife. If you just adults, two adults, not three, not four, not two families, not two couples.
No stragglers.
No stragglers. If it's you and your partner or friend or whoever you're going with.
Right.
And you're on the same page, you can plan it out, and you gotta hustle, and you can get shit done, and you can see the entire park in one day. You can see each park in one day. Mm-hmm. Epcot's tough because there's so much.
Epcot is the one that
has the World Fair, the World. Fuck is it called? World Expo.
Countries of the World.
Yeah, Countries of the World, some shit like that. But it's like this big walk around a central lake. Mm-hmm. And there's a couple of attractions up at the front of the park. A couple of the attractions were down while we were there, which kind of sucked because it was one of the ones that I really like. And then they're building some new shit, so there's a lot of construction. But you go in, there's a couple of rides to do. Like, I think we rode like 4 rides the entire time in Epcot. Mm-hmm. The rest of it is walking around. I should take that back because some of the other things were rides. They were like little boat rides, you know?
Line ride.
Yeah. They're like boat rides, and they kind of tour through this little thing.
Like the Jungle Cruise.
Kind of like that. Like Pirates of the Caribbean.
Pinocchio.
Yeah. Pirates of the Caribbean and stuff like that. It's like a slow rolling boat ride, and you're just going through it to see the visuals that they put for that country, right? It's supposed to be like a tour of that country. Mexico has one. Norway has one. I think there's one more boat ride somewhere.
Asia? Do they have an Asia thing there?
So there's China has their own spot.
Did they have any?
Japan has their own spot.
Did they close it down because of the coronavirus?
No, China was open. We didn't go in though. We just walked by.
To mimic what's going on in reality here in the real world, we're going to close off China. Notice all of our cast members are wearing face masks.
It was funny because like I wanted to go into China because sensitive. I like Chinese culture. I think it's neat. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to go in, and we just had so much going on that I didn't get in there. It kind of sucked. We went into quite a few of them, but we had like a planned dinner at the beer garden in Germany. So, and the food was good, and it's traditional, like, ethnically appropriate food for their country. Well, it's what you would get if you went there and had traditional
German-made German food opposed to American-made German food.
Right. So it wasn't really.
So would you have some brats or something?
Bastardized. Yeah, it was like 3 different kinds of sausages. But
they're really strong, or like.
No, I mean I would say they're comparable to what you would get as a brat here.
Sure.
It wasn't off color for me.
Not like
the only things that were strange or different to me that I wasn't used to was like there's like 3 different kinds of like offerings of potatoes. They had like mashed potatoes. It was like dirty mashed potatoes, red skin potatoes with the skin still in it.
That's what I do.
They had a cold potato salad that was made with fresh potatoes, but it was like heavy on the vinegar. So like in America, in the U.S., potato salad's real heavy on mayonnaise and maybe mustard a little bit, stuff like that, celery and shit. But it was like fresh made, and the
vinegar
sauce or whatever was real vinegary, and it wasn't super thick. It was like a thin coating for the potatoes.
So it was like watery.
Not really watery. It just wasn't real thick. Like it was real thin.
Yeah,
like
so like a
sauce
like potato salad soup.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. They had, big on cabbage, shit like that. So there was like 3 different kinds of fucking, like there was a red cabbage dish, and then there was a cabbage, some other kind of fucking coleslaw thing, but a lot more vinegary than we would make it.
Right.
In the U.S. But everything in the U.S., like Western culture, is real sweet. We sweeten the fuck out of everything.
I guess.
And I noticed that about their food, that the only things that were sweet were the desserts, and they weren't overly sweet. They weren't over the top sweet. Like they had like this brownie cake thing that was really like, it was heavy, like very thick, very dense, chocolatey, and it was good. In Japan, they had sushi donut.
A sushi donut.
Yeah, it was just like a roll, but shaped like a
so
it was like a round roll. It was like 3 or 4 different types of fish or whatever. There was like one was like shrimp, one was tuna, one was salmon, one was cucumber, and one was, I don't remember what the other one was, something else. But it was interesting. It was kind of cool. And like, so one of the things that people ask about, like if you look online, you do the forums and shit, is I don't know if you've ever heard of meal planning, but you can buy
like a bracelet
package. So in Disney World they have the Magic Band, which is the bracelet.
Right, and
they don't have that in Disney World. I'm sorry, in Disney World they have, in Disneyland they don't.
They had it at Universal. I didn't see it last time I went though.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know when Disneyland is going to get it, but it makes a lot of sense because it's your room key, it's your credit card, it's everything. And it's 2-factor, so you have to scan it and have a PIN if you're going to buy something with it. And it's your park ticket, so you scan it when you come in. It's your fast pass, you scan it when you go to the ride. It's all there. You can run the whole trip from your phone and your.
So you had this?
Yeah, we had that at Disney World this last trip.
Because like you get your tickets when you're at Disneyland, and you're going on like water rides, and your ticket gets fucked.
Yeah. So last time we were at Disneyland, we got the hard plastic cards. It's like a credit card, but it's RFID. It's like a magnet card.
Sure.
You can scan it.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I didn't even see an option for that.
I don't know if you get that if you like pre-plan it or if you just buy the tickets. Because I've gotten paper tickets before, and those are a pain in the dick. But I know that you can get a hard-sided card for your park ticket, and then we just get the lanyards and you put the park ticket in there, and then fucking zip it up, and then it's there all the time, in and out of the rides. You can use it for your fast passes and shit, so it works nice. So if you're going 2 people at Disney World, you and the wife or you and your buddy, 2 people can get one of the 4 parks
hit everything up
in one day. With the exception of Epcot, and then you kind of have to make choices. Because basically Epcot is like a down day. There's a few things to do that are like ride related that you have to wait in line for. Everything else is fucking off, shopping and eating and drinking. You're just looking at the scenery, checking shit out. Okay. They have like little displays, like almost like a museum kind of, but you go in and it's like, oh, this is traditional whatever from this country, and each country has that.
Right.
And then each country has quick service stuff outside. They have little snacks. There's fucking there's like a beer vendor. Like seems like every fucking.
So you got alcohol in Epcot.
Alcohol.
Doing shots of tequila in Mexico.
You can get alcohol in all the parks now.
Okay.
In park.
Even in Disneyland?
Yep. Even in Magic Kingdom.
Well, at Disneyland.
Disneyland, yeah. Now you can in Magic Kingdom. They opened that up last year. They started.
Disneyland.
Yes.
Why do you keep saying Magic Kingdom?
Because that's the park. So in Disneyland, the Disney park, not California Adventure Park, is just called Disneyland.
Right.
In Orlando, you have the 4 parks, and Magic Kingdom is what you would akin Disneyland to.
Okay.
That's that part.
Okay.
But they've taken some of the attractions out of Disneyland and put it into the other areas. Like, I think they have Jungle Cruises in Magic Kingdom. just like Disneyland.
Well, you got like Space Mountain.
Space Mountain is in Magic Kingdom.
Matterhorn.
That one is also there. It was down.
It was down?
Yeah.
I noticed that the Disneyland
Splash Mountain and Matterhorn were both fucking down. But they're revamping it.
I remember, because years and years and years ago, Matterhorn, I'd seen videos on how they made it in Disney World. Seems like they made the Disneyland one now closer to that.
Yeah. And the other thing, so one of my favorite rides at Disneyland is Space Mountain. It seems like every time I fucking go, it's down. It's broken, like all the time. Disney World to Disneyland, totally different ride.
Is it?
Yep. I mean, the coaster itself, like the track of the coaster, real similar. Of how it goes down and through and around, and it's fucking dark and you can't see shit.
Right.
Disney World is still like that. Disneyland, same thing, but the carts are different.
Okay.
In Disney World, it's 3 people in a row.
1-1-1?
Yep, 1-1-1.
Okay.
In line. And the cart's real narrow.
They're not
side by side.
Oh, okay.
And it's just a pull down, like lap bar.
Isn't that what Matterhorn's like?
Yeah. It's a lot like that.
Okay.
It's like the original style.
Okay.
So I think Disney World is a lot like what it used to be when they first opened. Because I remember my first time at Disneyland, that was how the carts were set up. It was 1, 2, 3 in a row. Because I remember being in the middle, and each of my cousins were front and back of me, and my older cousin had his hands on my shoulders so that I wouldn't freak out. I was crying. I didn't want to go on the fucking ride, and I was like holding on to my other cousin in front of me, just like fucking squeezing the shit out of her arm, because I was so afraid. And then still, like, dude, I'm fucking. It's a 42-inch ride, I think, or 43-inch ride, so it's little. Like short people can go on this. And I was positive that because I couldn't see, but I could see like some of the scaffolding and stuff that's in there. I was swear to God, if you put your hands
can you do that?
Yes.
No, you can't.
Yes, you can.
There's no way.
Yep.
There's no way.
You can't touch anything from inside the cart.
Bullshit.
If you can fit on that ride, you can't touch anything.
I mean,
outside.
like logically, right? But it
feels like you're gonna. Like, I don't put my hands up on that ride because I'm afraid I'm going to hit something. And just take it off. But it's not a thing.
No.
It's not real.
Okay. It's not real.
You just think it is because you can't see. It's weird.
But you can see.
Your brain, you can see just enough, but you don't know what you're looking at.
Okay.
You can't see what you think you're seeing.
Okay.
So, but yeah, so that was old school. That was kind of nice. The Space Mountain. Because it was like the old school ride. It was like the original configuration. And then, they have some stuff is different just because the terrain is different.
Right.
The way it's laid out.
It's huge, right? Is it huge? Like, it's I can only
Disney
imagine
World?
it's huge, yeah.
Dude.
Like, I mean, obviously it's an understatement by saying it's huge.
Yeah,
but
it is so an understatement. Like, at Disney World, Disneyland, you can walk to the park, right? If you get a room that's relatively close.
Yeah.
You can walk through downtown Disney, or you can walk across, the street from the other end of that road there, and or you can park and take the little tram in. At Disneyland, I've stayed at now 2 different hotels in completely different areas of the property, and you can't see the parks
in Orlando.
In Orlando from your hotel.
Okay.
I have no fucking clue where they are. Like, it's like another dimension. It's so fucking weird how far apart everything is. Like, you have to take the bus from your hotel to the park, or you have to drive there. So if you have a car, and you can drive to the parks, and they have parking, because you can drive on property, but it's like, it's a fucking city, dude. Like, it's the whole area of, like, if you take, like, Spanish Springs, I don't know what the square footage is or the acreage is on the park or the property, but it's like if you took Spanish Springs and that's the Disney property. And everywhere...
All of Spanish Springs is the Disney World?
Yeah. I mean, probably not all of it, but like, say the central area, like everything from Walmart over to... So from
Pyramid
Walmart
Lake.
to Costco and all that stuff that's in there now, all the shopping centers and stuff, probably all the way up to like Vista. And just drive all the way in the back there.
I got Disneyworld as 47 square miles.
Yeah. 47 square miles.
Yeah.
That's insanity.
30,000 acres.
That is that's a whole fucking city, dude. Like you can tell the parts that they own because when you're on property, it's all very Disney. The sides of the roads are manicured, the trees are manicured, all of the fucking landscaping is always done everywhere. The roads are clean. There's not a single pothole. There's not a fucking like a patch stripe in the road. It's clean as fuck. It's super nice. Everything about it.
Well,
so
here's the Google Earth.
Yeah, I mean it's insanely huge.
It's all green though on that shot.
Yeah, well that's because it's like really tight. So, oh boy, don't go in. You're falling down. Yeah, but look at where the parks are. You have to zoom in before you can even start seeing them. There's Animal Kingdom Park over here. Epcot's there.
They're like
Magic Kingdom is here. Look how far apart they are.
It's like going from city to city to city.
Oh, they have SeaWorld Orlando too. That's probably one of the other parks. And then there's, but I mean, it's like it feels like city to city each park, and there's just a lot of space in between. And we stayed at the French Quarter hotel.
What was it connected to?
It wasn't connected to one of the parks.
Oh, really?
No, it's on property. It's a Disney property. It's a Disney sponsored thing.
Well, like here's Epcot. Do they have? So, like, does this look familiar?
Yeah. Yeah, what are you looking for?
I don't know. I was just like.
So this is the front of the park over here.
On this very visual podcast that we're doing.
Turtle Talk with Crush. Yeah, I know we should have this up on the screen.
I know Epcot has that big ball. That's what I think about when I think about Epcot is this thing.
Yeah,
right
so
here.
that's the ball. And that ball is actually a ride.
Is it Space Mountain?
No. It is, it's something Earth.
Well, let's talk
Mission
about
Earth or something like that.
the highlights of your trip.
So, the park is great. I love the park. Because if you just, like, suspension of disbelief, right?
Sure.
Just enjoy the magic.
Right.
Like, you don't overthink
That's
it.
what you gotta do.
You have to. And that's what makes things enjoyable. Movies, books.
Yes, you have
and
to.
theme parks.
You have to try to enjoy it for what it is, and if it doesn't do what it's supposed to be doing, then it's not very good.
So Disneyland, Disney World, I think are both really good at that. I think you get like a great customer service experience for the most part, and then depending on what your favorite places are inside the lands, like I like Star Wars, I like Galaxy's Edge.
Because they got it there too, right?
Yeah, they have. That's in Hollywood Studios, so it's the same.
Don't they have an extra ride that Disneyland doesn't have?
So they're gonna have it.
Okay.
But it just opened.
When you left.
No, it opened.
Oh, okay.
We got to ride it.
Okay.
That's Rise of the Resistance. Awesome ride.
Right, you got to kill people in that?
No.
I'm just making shit up now.
But it's it's not more interactive. You remember the Indiana Jones ride?
Yeah, of course.
It's a lot like that, except
it's like a track ride.
Kind of
like a motion theater track ride.
Not really motion. It is motion theater, but it's live action motion theater, so it's not like 3D screens. Like you're actually in a cart,
and people are shooting each other. They're killing.
Yeah, stormtroopers so they're trying to escape you from.
The Death Star.
Not the Death Star. It's a Star Destroyer.
Okay.
If you want, you can see videos of the ride. I'm sure there's a million of them out there. People have filmed the whole thing.
Sure. Gotta love them.
I don't know how much people are on spoilers and stuff. I thought it was cool to just go in. Like, I didn't watch any of them. I just wanted to see what the ride was like, front to back, with just being there.
Right.
And I think it's worth doing it that way because it's more of a surprise.
Oh, you're trying to prevent me? I'm probably never going to get down to Disney World anytime soon.
Well, I haven't Disneyland.
Nor do I like Star Wars.
Yeah, it's true. Okay, so
spoilers ahead.
Speed bumps. So you go in, you go through the queue, and cool layout. It's very well done. It's like a resistance cave kind of thing, and they've got rifles and gear and shit everywhere. And you go through the queue and you get on, and they're like, okay, all aboard, and you get on the shuttle, and it's like, hey, you're like joining the resistance, and they're like, we have to get out of here because the First Order's here, and they know that our base is wherever, and we have to get out of here to where General Leia is because she's over here at the other secret base. So we have to get out. So they put you on this. It's like a shuttle, like a tram shuttle. So it feels like you just standing room, and there's a screen in the front, screen in the back, and there's a screen overhead, and it's supposed to be like a pod, right? So get you into space, and it takes off, and there's X-wings that are supposed to accompany you out of the thing and get past the Star Destroyer that's supposedly coming and stuff, and then you're flying, and then there's a battle with the TIE fighters and stuff around you, and then everyone's standing. Okay. So it's not moving around a whole lot.
Okay.
And that's the cool part about the ride is it's like multi-part. So you get on this tram, and it's like your group, right? Your boarding group, a number of people. And you come on the thing, and you go through this stuff. It's like, oh no, we're stuck in the tractor beam on the Star Destroyer. So they pull you in, and you can see the Star Destroyer coming, and like your shuttle going up into the Star Destroyer. And then they like come over the comm, and they tell you that you're being boarded or whatever. And the door opens, and you're not in fucking Kansas anymore. Because, you're in Batuu when you leave.
Mm-hmm. And then you're on a Star Destroyer.
The shuttle opens up, and you're on a Star Destroyer. It is fucking incredible. Like, the visuals, the layout of how they did it, how they put it together, it's like, holy fucking shit. Yeah. Like, they built a real one. Like, it's what it feels like. And if you do that suspension of disbelief thing where you just let it be magic, you let it be in the moment.
Meanwhile, the car just went...
It probably went into like a little hangar. Like it was a real short ride, takes you over to the thing.
On the other side of the wall.
Boop, and you're done. And then you go boop, and then they pick up another group, right? But you feel like you've been transported off of the planet. The door opens up. The cast members that are on the Star Destroyer are dressed like
stormtroopers.
No.
Okay.
They're dressed like like the the generals or whatever.
The black.
The black, actually, there's the gray.
Okay, like Grand Moff Tarkin.
Yeah, those kind of outfits, the uniforms, if you will, the Imperial uniforms.
Uniforms work.
The Imperial naval uniforms, I think. I don't know if it's called naval. I don't know if they refer to it as that, but it would be that for space.
Right. So no stormtroopers.
There were stormtroopers, but they weren't people.
Okay.
So that was the one. I was kind of disappointed that there
statues?
were no live stormtroopers. So you get on. They go, okay. You guys are, they basically, the parts they play are really good. The way they act towards you, they treat you like prisoners. They're not mean.
Get the fuck off.
But they're basically like, they it's the Empire.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And
rebel scum.
You are still rebels, but, we're going to find out what we need to know from you. So, you guys are going to be detained, and we're going to question you.
Wouldn't it be great if they had like a guy in there dressed like a tourist?
Oh, and played
they
up the
fucking
thing.
Pull him out and they like shock.
Just go a little further to make it a little too real.
That would be the best. He's like screaming and shit.
Just scare the fuck out of people.
The kids are crying.
They're like, I don't want to ride this ride anymore. So you come off, and there's a rail, and then there's a whole, like a company of stormtroopers standing there.
But they're fake.
They're statues.
They're statues.
I mean, they're good, but they're all standing there like in a formation. And there's
you would like
the
to
view
see a
screen.
little movement.
I would have liked it to have been I would have rather not had, 50 stormtroopers standing there. I'd rather had, stormtrooper patrols, at least, going across this area and not just a battalion of fucking stormtroopers that don't do anything.
Right.
I would have rather had more
two
action.
guys that are just
like sentries walking up and down, even if you had, because that's how it was. You have the stormtroopers were on the ship too, especially in the dock, in the bay.
Right.
And then you have, the military personnel that are the non-stormtroopers.
Right, the
officers or whatever, that are doing their thing, and commanding people, and maybe have the stormtroopers be escorting things. Like, there's more overhead there, but it would have been more fun.
Right.
If it was like that. And I hope that there's another thing.
I hope they're listening to you.
I hope that they're going to, they keep going in the right direction. That's all I hope. But then they take you over, and they're the Empire. They're supposed to be dicks,
right?
So they kind of are, like, and I think it's a fine line because Disney, they're supposed to be nice to you and everything that, but they're still playing a part. So they have to do both.
Right.
They have to be cheeky about it, right? They can't just call you rebel scum. They just have to say kind of off color
cocksuckers.
So they bring you in, and they're like, okay, go this way through the door, and you wait in the line, and you come up, and they split you up into groups, and they're like pretending like they're going
two this way.
They don't even. It wasn't even like that. Like, it was more colorful than that.
Okay.
They treated you like you were being separated for questioning because you are being detained for questioning.
Sure.
So they put you in your groups, they split you up, and then they funnel you into this room. And you go into this room, and it's like angular. It doesn't look like there's any doors. It's just a room. And you're standing in there.
Blows your mind.
And you're like, okay, this is cool. What the fuck are we going to do now? And you don't know if something's going to open or if it's going to go somewhere. And then there's like a catwalk that's up above your level, and two actors come out, like live people. And it's Kylo Ren and another naval officer. And he's like, you're going to tell me what I want to know, or I'm going to take it from you. And it's like, it vibrates like he's force pushing you or whatever.
Sure.
And then they're like, oh, we're under attack. And he's like, well, I have to go to the bridge, but leave them for me. They're mine. So then they split, and then the lights are just like real dim, and you're standing there, and then like the wall opens up, and they're like, hey, we're busting you out of here. And you go through, and you go on to these that's where the ride starts. Mm-hmm. That you get on these carts.
It's very interactive, this thing.
It's multifaceted. It's really cool. So then you get in these carts, and that's your seating that they broke you up into for your colors and stuff. You get in, and there's the prisoner transport. And they've hacked the droids. BB-8 hacked the droids that run them.
Yeah.
And push the carts around and stuff. You get in, and they're like, you got to get them out to this thing, and we're going to pick them up, get them back to the hangar bay. And if anybody asks, just tell them it's a prisoner transport. And you go, and that's when it gets exciting. They start wheeling you out, and then it's like, oh, hey, we're just, the droids are beep booping at each other, and you end up going all over the Star Destroyer.
And they're
during
chasing
like this
like
escape battle, and stormtroopers are do the fucking awesome like laser effect, like through the air looking shit. You like bust through the fucking wall or something, and you end up on the bridge, and you see the animatronic Kylo Ren and naval officer talking. It was actually, the animatronics are really good.
Okay.
Did you go on
Galaxy's Edge?
Galaxy's Edge?
Yeah, I remember I didn't.
Or what do you call? Not that it's not called that. You went to Galaxy's Edge. Did you ride the Millennium Falcon ride?
Yeah. Remember I didn't like it?
You didn't like the ride?
No, because you have to look away to press the buttons.
It's kind of stupid that way. But did you see the Hondo Onaka? Wasn't that his name?
Who?
Did you go through the main, or did you go single rider?
Oh, I went single rider.
Oh, so you missed it.
Oh, okay.
So in the main queue, the spice smuggler, Hondo Onaka from the animated series?
Nope.
Okay. Nope. I know way too much about it then. Anyway, but they have a guy, and it looks very good. Like, the animatronics are a lot more fluid and lifelike than your older stuff.
Okay.
So, and they did better. But you go through this whole thing, and then...
It was the best ride of the trip?
I don't know if it was the best ride.
I think what was the best
ride of the whole trip...
Haunted Mansion.
Was not the Haunted Mansion. Not even close. I like speed rides. I like roller coasters. So, honorable mention for best ride is an old one. It's the Rock and Roller Coaster. It's Aerosmith themed. It's a whole thing. There's a story behind it.
Yeah.
You're in line and stuff, but it's a good, fast loop-de-loops, corkscrews. It's a good roller coaster.
I hear that's cool. It's
Test Track was good. That was in Epcot, but it was closed while we were there. But yeah, Aerosmith is still one of my favorite rides there. That's in Hollywood Studios. Pandora Flight of Passage.
Okay.
So the Avatar movie.
Oh, God.
Oh, whatever. You're just a James Cameron hater.
No, yeah, because I hate fucking Terminator so fucking much.
I'm kidding.
No, Avatar, lame.
Didn't like it?
No.
At all, or you just don't like the prospect, the concepts? What is it you don't like?
It's an unoriginal movie.
Most things are.
No. Well, that's a different podcast. That's a different podcast.
We can kill Pandora next time.
Oh, God.
I love that movie.
Visually, it's cool, yeah. But
the
story-wise, it was Pocahontas.
It's exactly.
It's Ferngully, The Last Rainforest. It's such an unoriginal idea.
Yeah.
Like, for him to be like, I'm gonna go all out and create new technology and make this fantastic looking movie, but I'm just gonna layer it over something that is kind of old hat and retread and everything else like that.
Fair enough. But the ride, Flight of Passage, was fucking cool. It's like it feels like a motorcycle almost that you sit on, but it like locks you down, and then it comes up and it's motion theater. Mm-hmm. But so it's very good. Very, like, immersive. Like
you're on one of the creature things?
Dude,
they stick a thing up your ass.
They stick the little pigtail thing that connects your body. The immersiveness of the ride, it's kind of a mix between...
It's like you got your own IMAX screen?
It feels like it. I mean, you can see the other people in the ride, but it's like just a full, like, half dome. Mm-hmm. That you're looking into when you sit down, and you have your flight visor, your 3D glasses you put on, and you get in, and they fucking lock you into this thing, and you have a support on your back, and these things that come up under your knees, and you're like pinned into this fucking thing, and you hang on to the handlebars, and they launch the ride, and you're on one of the benches.
They're blowing air at you.
There's air. There's smells that they're pumping into this thing. Make you feel like you're going through the trees or by the ocean.
So, like, if the Soarin' Over California, Soarin' Over the
Soarin'
World...
Over California was... or Soarin' World
was more like exciting. A ride rather than just a watching the thing?
Well, because it is... they kind of do that with you a little bit.
They move you a little bit.
This is, like, exciting Soarin'. This would be like if you had, like, a fucking jetpack... but did Soarin'. It's right. That immersive, like you feel like you're actually in that space.
Now, how high off the ground are you?
Literally, or in your in your view?
Like literally, how high off the ground are you?
Maybe 3 feet.
Oh, so you're not off the ground like you are in Soarin', where they put you in the thing.
You can't see it,
and then they lift you
because everything is dark where you are. And everything is so bright in front of you.
So like what? So you get in and then you like get onto something like this, like a motorcycle?
Like a motorcycle. You get in and you sit down.
And then you're just there.
And you're there.
You don't get lifted up, right?
You do.
Oh, you do get lifted up.
But it's after, so it's
I hate the Soarin' because I'm afraid of heights.
So it's like a machine thing, but you don't feel it. It
sounds scary.
It comes. You might not like it because it feels like you're way the fuck up in the air, dude. Like it feels like you're actually flying through the fucking air. And those like motion theater rides that you've been to Universal, Studios
Yes.
in Hollywood.
Yes.
Most of those rides are
like all of them are
motion theater.
The Terminator, or not Terminator, formerly Terminator, but Transformers. Simpsons.
I think the Mummy was a combination.
Mummy was Indiana
actual
Jones.
roller coaster.
Mummy was Indiana Jones.
Okay. But it's like
it's the
a roller
same
coaster,
ride.
But it's
like you get into the Jeep and it's like a motion theater on a track.
Thing, yeah.
There's another one though.
Harry Potter,
No, because that's another one because they're flying you around. That's not a motion theater. In fact,
but it's like
Transformers literally Simpsons is the only one that's like a motion theater, but
they're combo though.
They're combo on a track, motion theater on a track,
right? But a lot of it is still controlled, and it's implied motion. A lot of it's implied motion,
right?
Where you're moving along a track, but the things where they make you feel like you're going extra fast or dipping and cornering and stuff, that's just
like
implied.
You feel like you're falling. Yeah,
They're
no,
just
it
moving
is.
You. So
it's the Matrix.
You get on, the motorcycle feeling thing, the Banshee or whatever, and when they turn it on, like when they connect you, right, it's fucking 100% immersive, dude. The scale is awesome. It's like the first time I tried VR. I don't know if you've tried that yet.
Well, I have a VR. Rift. I've got the VR for PlayStation 4.
Is it any good?
Yeah.
Okay, so the presence of that scenery is very good. Very good. The bike, the Banshee that you're sitting on, once they turn it on and you're like hanging on the side of a cliff, right? Like getting ready, or sitting on a thing, like getting ready to take off, and then you dive down off the cliff. Like you probably wouldn't like if you really don't like heights that much. The implied, like where you are, is
but if I can feel like I've done it on my PlayStation 1, like I've done the YouTube videos where you're flying, you get vertigo and
shit.
I get vertigo, but I feel grounded. As long as I can feel safe and grounded,
right?
I'm all for it.
You're not afraid,
right?
So this thing hangs on to you so well, like the machine.
See, that's what I didn't like about soaring over California. Is it's just
a fucking stupid
seatbelt. One seatbelt across. So, like, I could lean over if I wanted to.
Yeah.
And they even fucking tip you. So, yeah.
So, if you ever get there, it's not that scary. Because it pins you so tight that, like, you want to feel grounded, you're fucking connected to a machine.
Okay.
It's bolted to the ground.
I'm probably down.
You're not hanging out there. But they move it so well, in the visual sphere that you're in, that it makes you feel like you're riding this winged pterodactyl looking thing flying through the air, and there's a breathing thing between your knees, like between your knees where the bike is.
Oh, like you're up like on bladders.
Like bladders. So
you're on, like it's breathing, like it's chest breathing, right?
But like you can hear it breathing in the sound system, and you go through this thing where you're like running away from the remember the big orange one. Big orange.
The main one that
he gets at the end.
Jake Sully.
Yeah. So that thing tries to kill you at the very beginning. So you have to fly and run away from it and stuff, and then you end up like hanging off of the side of this cliff, waiting for it to go away.
Now we did the when we were in Vegas. Didn't you and I do the roller coaster with the VR headset on? Coaster, yeah. And you're
sucked.
like.
That sucked.
It's like you're sucked in, like it wasn't that good.
The VR sucked.
The
presence in the VR and the graphics sucked.
The graphics were
bad. The ride was fun and it was still entertaining, but it was like fucking might as well have been Nintendo. Like it sucked.
The graphics aren't that good, but it was still pretty cool. It was still cool. Yeah. It felt like,
but it did feel good.
It felt like you were doing the things that they were showing you, right. But obviously it wasn't like wasn't James Cameron style fucking graphics. Okay. Wasn't James Cameron Presents New York roller coaster.
So, I would say to me that was the best ride, just because
you get to do it more than once.
Good. I waited for 3.5 hours.
So yeah, that's what I was gonna. How were the crowds there? Like
a lot heavier than I expected. Yeah, it really was. I mean, it was off season. It wasn't. The weather wasn't that great. It fucking pissed rain the first day.
Raining in the park.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Florida rain is weird. There's two kinds.
Okay.
It's probably all the same, but it feels like two different kinds of rain. There's like this really light, misty rain where it feels fake. it feels like somebody's got a garden hose on mist and they're just spraying it over everybody, like ha ha ha, making everybody wet. And it's not like pissing rain. That's what it feels like. It feels like somebody's fucking with you. Because you're like, it's wetting you. It's wetting the things around you. So that like the tabletops and bars. It's
humid to begin with.
It's humid, right? And then it's like the humidity like breaks a certain point and then it starts coming out, I guess. And it's like raining a little bit. It's just like a little rainy sprinkle. It's not even a drizzle. Like it feels like a sprinkle, like, but it's very consistent. Right? It feels like mist.
You know what? I got a little bit of that not too long ago when I went to work.
Like falling mist.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
Like it was misty outside.
And it was like overcast for the first 2 days. So we didn't see the sun for like 2.5 days while we were there. Which was fine with me because the day the sun came out, it was fucking hot.
Right.
It got up to almost 80. Which with humidity, 80 is fucking hot as shit.
Right, because you feel like you're just sweating.
Yeah. Well, and we're from the desert, dude. Like,
I mean, Philippines was 80, but it felt like 100.
Yeah, exactly. But it would be like that misty, fake-ass feeling rain. And then every once in a while, every few hours, it would just like come on and just fucking really actually rain.
Yeah.
For like 5 or 10 minutes. And it would quit. And then it would happen again.
Sounds cool, because it's cold here.
Yeah, I mean, it was nice, dude. I mean, I did the majority of the trip in a t-shirt.
Meanwhile, you come back home and there's no humidity, no precipitation.
I was laughing, dude, because I was watching the weather where I was versus here. And I told the wife, I was like, bet you're glad we're here. Let's see, Orlando, it's like 78, whatever, humidity. Said back home, it's 14 right now.
Well, look, it was only that cold once, and it was like at 5 in the morning.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing.
Like yesterday was 60 degrees.
Orlando's 3 hours plus here from here.
Oh, okay.
So the time difference for us.
Right, so 9 o'clock in the morning.
We're up, at 9 o'clock in the morning
that
for us
day
here.
Sucked, dude. That was really, really fucking cold that day. But there's we're not getting any...
we got no
water. Like, we're going to be in a drought here.
Yeah.
Do you think it's going to snow at all?
Oh, yeah. It'd probably cut loose here by the end of the month.
You think so?
Yeah.
You want to throw some money down?
Put 5 on it.
Yeah? 5?
But I bet it snows...
By the 29th?
I forgot it's still...
We're halfway through the month, dude.
Yeah. No, I'll put $5 on snow before the end
$5?
of February.
Let's say March 1st.
By March 1?
Yeah.
Okay.
You heard it here first, folks.
You heard it here on the internet.
I think we're not going to get anything.
We'll see.
I've never seen it like this.
It's been too clear for too long. Like, we got, one time it snowed.
Right, so the idea is we're due.
You know why? It's because I bought snow tires.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
I fucking killed it. I killed the whole ecosystem.
I got some new tires, too, so...
So, we do the parks. Like I said, Pandora was my
Wasn't there a story that you were going to tell? Home Alone?
Oh, so we did, a couple of, dining experiences. One of them was a dessert bar and preferred seating for a Star Wars related fireworks light show kind of thing. That was in Hollywood Studios. That was cool. It was like a really expensive dinner. Not really expensive. It was
Disney.
It was dining, right? It was Disney, table service.
$100.
Roughly, like $100, $120, something like that. I think we actually paid out of pocket for that one. But it was all you can eat, hors d'oeuvres, light hors d'oeuvres, and dessert.
Okay.
They had ice cream and cookies and all different kinds of little cakes and puddings and little thingies. It was all but it was buffet style dessert, so it was little, and you just go get your things and all the drinks you want. So you fucking load up on. They had adult beverages included, so you could have beers and mixed drinks and stuff. So we were fucking having a good time. I didn't get too fucked up because we had the kids and gotta get up early in the morning and stuff.
I haven't drank in so long, dude.
Dude, I actually drank more on our vacation than I have in the last 6 months. I halfway shitty one night. Just because I was like, fuck it. Last night we're going to drink some beers.
We're on vacation, so it's okay.
So we're kind of in a hurry to get to this thing because we sit down and eat, and there's a character thing. We meet Darth Vader, and we preferred fast passes for pictures with Darth Vader, and we go through all this stuff, and I'm going to park the stroller, and stroller parking is I know, as you know, is a thing at Disneyland, right? There's like these just masses of stroller parking lots, and you have to find a place, right? Well, they were like a little bit more sparse in Disney World, in some of the parks. It was like harder to find, but they were there. So I'm like, okay,
it's like a mile away from where
I'm
you're going.
I'm gonna meet you over at the thing. You go get us checked in. I'm gonna go park the stroller. I have the baby in the stroller. I forgot.
Oh no!
While I was I didn't leave him. It was almost Home Alone though. Like, I was like, okay, cool. We did the things, park a stroller, and like in my mind, I'm running through it, and I get up to the thing, I click the brake on the stroller, and as soon as I was getting ready to let go of the handle and turn around and split, I was like, the baby's in there. Got it. So I unbuckle him and peel him out, and I'm like, almost forgot about you, bro. So wow. It was like, I didn't even turn around. Like, I didn't even walk away from him, but it was like, in my mind, I was skipping that step.
You were about ready to.
I was about ready to, because I was like, because the wife had been carrying him so much in the park, because it's easier than pushing the stroller around.
Oh, well, that was like me when I fucking forgot the tickets here.
Yeah. It's like, how the fuck are you going to get in?
Yeah. Like, we got everything we need. Oh, don't got the tickets. We're halfway to Vegas.
So, that was cool. So then, the last night at the parks, stay the night. We leave that morning. We drive to Cape Canaveral. Just Kennedy Space Center is over there. That was one of the things I wanted to do. It's like, we're on the fucking East Coast. We might as well do the shit that we can do.
Who knows when we're coming back.
Yeah, right? And it's like, it's kind of expensive and it's time consuming to go there. So we go to Cape Canaveral and we do Space Center for like, we ended up getting like 3 or 4 hours worth of,
just looking at stuff,
looking at stuff and checking shit out. It's more for me. Like, the whole part of the trip was basically for me. The kids aren't that into it. The baby doesn't give a shit. Callan wasn't that into it. Like, he's like, okay, cool, like old spaceships. Like,
do they have an Enterprise there?
Yeah, there was no, like, it wasn't Star Wars. It wasn't Disney. There was no rides. Well, there were rides, but we didn't get to them.
Oh, there's rides there?
There's like, yeah, there are some like simulated like motion theater stuff.
Okay.
But there's a couple of things that are interesting that would have been great to get to, except we get out to, so the part of the thing is there's the main attraction in the middle. This is where they have all the stuff. And then there's a bus tour that goes out to the Saturn launch sites where they are still launching the SpaceX rockets and other things out there. Like, that's still where NASA does business, is out on the beach.
Right.
So you take a fucking 25-minute bus ride out to the Saturn V launch sites, and it's a historical, place. There's 2 main launch pads, and they show you, and the guy does a guided tour bus thing, like, oh, if you look out this window, you'll see the things. And it just, the gravity and the scale of everything out there is so huge, and the historical significance to me, like, I had an emotional response, like, going out there, because it's like a nerdy mecca for me. Like, you go out there to see this really fucking cool shit that, a handful of people have ever done.
Right.
And I mean, and to see the actual hardware in its environment, like, not just a picture of it, but to be like, 50 or 100 yards from it and go, holy fucking shit, that's huge. Just being there was fucking cool. And then you get to see, the launch sites, and we drove by the SpaceX, pad that they're renting from NASA right now. The mover and the big hangar. You see pictures of it all the time. It's a big building, and has a fucking, like, a roll-up door on it, on one end, in the middle, and then it's got the NASA circle logo, and the American flag painted down the other side. I'm sure you've seen it.
Probably.
In a picture somewhere.
Probably.
But it looks like, a kind of a tall building. When you're driving out past it, it still just looks like a tall building. It doesn't look that big. The flag that's painted on it, that takes up, like, the top, maybe 1/3, I think the guy said, I might forget the statistic, but he said it was 27 stories tall. Mm-hmm. Just the flag. And it's, like, up the upper 1/3 of the building has that flag on it. So you figure, that double
like
wide
90
at
stories.
least, plus, exactly, it's a fucking huge building. It doesn't look that big from far away, but you don't get that close to it either. Out there's some cool stuff where they like replay the Apollo 11 launch, and they have the actual like console for flight control, and you can see it, and they play the radios, where they're like talking back and forth and go flight, blah blah blah, and they're talking all things, and then you're sitting there in these like theater seats, and I didn't expect anything. I just expected to watch the video and the thing that happened, and you hear the recordings, and they complete the launch sequence, and they go the countdown, and they like ignite the engines to take off, and the fucking room starts going, oh, and there's like these, they're like shades, like flapper shades,
yeah,
on the back side of the room, which are actually in that room in real life, and they're fucking just shaking and rattling and shit, and it does that the whole time the ship is the rocket's fucking leaving.
Yeah.
And it's like that's how it actually felt in that room. It was like just vibrating, and pressure fucking changed from all that energy. That room was over 3 miles away from the fucking launch pad to make it still do that.
Right.
So it was, it's cool. And then we get done with that, and we're getting ready to check stuff out, and they have I don't know if it was a real one or not, but it was a scale, at least, Saturn V, which is twice as big as the Saturn 1B, which was the first one that went out around, I know. The first rocket NASA ever built for space travel was a Saturn 1B. Everything before that was an intercontinental ballistic missile that they borrowed from the fucking U.S. government. So everything up to the
Saturn 1B.
The Gemini missions. So it was Mercury was like, hey, can we shoot a guy into space? Yep. Gemini was, hey, can we shoot a guy into space and keep him there for a while? Yep. Apollo was, okay, can we put guys in space, maneuver, manipulate, dock, orbit, go up to the moon and back? That's when Apollo started. The Apollo missions required the Saturn 1B, or I'm sorry, I think the Gemini missions required the 1B, and the Saturn V was required to go to the moon. The Saturn V is twice as big as the one that they used to get guys into low Earth orbit. And it is like, they're just fucking incredibly huge. Like, you don't get that kind of scale from most things,
right,
where it's like a machine is that big. Like, one of the fucking funnels, one of the nozzles on the rocket, there's 5 on the bottom of the rocket, is as big as this fucking room. Like, it's huge. Just standing next to it, and there's 5 of these fuckers, and they're just like way out there. And it's fucking long as fuck. Like, it goes way out, and it's like 2 stages. But that was for me. We get towards the end, we're looking at the EVA suits, so the space suits that they wear outside the ship when they're floating around in space, or the ones they went down to the moon on. And they had, some of the actual suits that were in space, and some of the prototype stuff that they never used. And we're looking at them, and the baby's getting fussy. And I'm like, oh, hey, what's wrong? You want a drink? And I get his little thermos out, and he chugs down a big swig of whatever was in his cup. And then he looks at me, and he goes,
he got sick.
And he fucking vomits like a gallon of fucking baby puke onto me and the wife. And we're just standing there looking at each other. And I'm trying to stop it with my hand. Like, he's puking, and I'm like going like this, and then I'm like realized that he just puked on my hand, and I didn't do any good because it's all over the floor. It's all over my shoes. The wife is fucking got it on her. He is completely covered in puke. And then we hear over the intercom, it's like, okay, attention guests, Kennedy Space Center, the bus is leaving in 10 minutes. We'll be closing for the day. And it's like, oh, cool. We got to clean this up. Not clean the ground up, because one of the staff was like, don't worry about it. I'll get the guy to come and clean that up. So we split.
You've done enough already.
He's like, just please don't, just go. She was really nice about it. So She goes to the bathroom to clean herself up and the baby. I go to the bathroom, clean myself up, and get Callan ready to go. He had to go to the bathroom, of course.
Was he laughing?
Callan, oh yeah, it was hilarious. He just thought it was fucking great. I started laughing too after I realized I was like, what the fuck are you going to do? You know, he just chunked all over the fucking place. So we go get cleaned up. Then we got to get on a bus.
Yeah.
And ride 25 minutes back to the main site.
With a sick baby?
We were hoping that he was done puking because he didn't have anything left.
Did you say that as if he
No,
wasn't
like we
done?
didn't know. Like we were just like, hope he's done because I hope he doesn't do that on the bus.
Right.
We all smelled like fucking like sour milk vomit.
Puke.
Right? Everybody, we got on the bus like way too fast.
Oh my God.
We get in the bus and we go straight to the back. So in the back corner in our little area.
It's just like steaming and reeking.
And it's reeking
forward.
out into the bus, and it just, everybody that gets on like has this look on their face like, oh my God, it smells like vomit on this bus. And there was these, I don't know if they were Irish or if they were English. They could have been Scottish. I don't know.
Some UK peeps.
But there were some UK peeps. They get on the bus, and dude, they were fucking huge. Like the two guys were great big bastards, and they looked like fucking soccer hooligans
Rugby
or something
players.
like that. Yeah, rugby players maybe. They just looked like fucking rough dudes, and they had like fucking 6 kids, and they're all ladies, and they were getting on the bus, and everybody's going like this, covering their faces up. You know, it smells like. And they get down, they sit down on the bus, and they're like, fucking, you know,
smell like shite!
No, because the one guy is looking at his brother or whatever, and he goes, oh, yeah, it smells like sick, doesn't it? So, yeah, we got to be the people that smelled horrible on the bus, so we get all the way back, get off, and we're like, we're done. Like, we had like 30 or 40 minutes that we could have spent back at the main area before they closed.
Right.
And we're like, no, fuck this. Like, we're going back to the room right now. I'm not going to
Get
fucking walk around smelling like puke, get cleaned
right.
up, you know, get checked into the room.
Yeah.
We had bought 2-day passes for the
Kennedy.
for Kennedy, so that we could go back the next day and finish up, because there was a bunch of shit I wanted to see. We got out to the launch site. That was awesome. Came back. There was a bunch of shit there that we didn't get to do. We like had lunch. I saw the rocket garden, and we saw the launch site. That was it. There was a bunch of shit to do. Like there was some Mars lander stuff. There's rover stuff. There was like a mission training thing that you could do. It was like all kinds of cool shit. Plus the gift shop. Like they had some cool shit in the gift shop supposedly that they don't have anywhere else. Mm-hmm. And didn't even get to go in there. Didn't even get to see.
Well, what happened to the second day?
So we get back to the hotel room. It's like, okay, cool. Get the baby cleaned up. We get him home. You know, there. He's got the fucking shits. He's like eats anything, he pukes. So we
flu.
just kind of I was like
food poisoning, whatever.
Yeah,
Sick.
food poisoning or whatever it was. I think it was food poisoning, and I think it was escargot.
Well, he ate some snails.
He did. Well, we all did because we ordered. It was at
Fancy.
Disneyland. It was at Disneyland. It was a dining experience at Belle and Beast Castle, which they don't have here. So we're like, it's a fancy sit-down dinner, so I ordered a fucking fancy steak and a thing, and the wife was like, oh, I'm going to get the
escargot.
It was on the menu, and she's like, I always wanted to try it, and I've never been to a place that I would trust eating it. So it's like Disneyland, or Disney World, probably trustworthy.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe it was that, maybe it wasn't, but
No,
I probably won't.
Sick, I'm assuming.
I'm getting to that part.
Oh, here we go.
So we get to the room, get all fucking settled in. It's like, you know, there's a Cracker Barrel right across the street. Cracker Barrel's like a breakfast
I've always
joint.
heard of these places.
They're good. It's like a country Denny's kind of thing.
Right.
So I was like, I'm gonna go get some food. We ordered food and I went and picked it up and we all sat there and ate and we go to bed. I was like, okay, well I'm gonna do laundry, so I go upstairs to wash up all the fucking puke laundry. And I'm up there and Ashley and Callan went to bed, the baby's asleep. And I go up to do laundry and I'm, you know, listening to my headphones and I'm like transcribing some shit, like I'm writing a book, but I do it in the car. So I do.
Oh, you write a book now?
Yeah. So I do like
a zombie book?
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's a different kind of book.
All right.
So I do like voice notes on my phone while I'm in the car, and then I re-listen to it, rehash it, and then transcribe it on paper. So I'm doing that, and I don't know if I fell asleep or something because I was listening first.
We all know you're a narcoleptic.
Yeah, basically. So then I get a text from the lady who was like, hey, how's it going? Callan and I are both up puking.
Oh, God.
And I'm like, no way. Really? And I'm like, well, I feel fine. Right? I'm fucking solid as a fucking rock, right? I'm good.
Famous
we could go
last
up,
words.
we could go down, we could go side to side. So I go, okay, well, I'm almost done with the laundry. I'll be down. You know, if you guys need anything. She's like, well, if you can find some, like, 7-Up or some ginger ale or something, bring it back. I'm like, okay, cool. So I finished doing the laundry, and it's, like, up on the 5th floor or some bullshit. I go out to the front counter. I get a drink. I get a Sprite for her and Callan, and I go back to the room. And they're up, dude. Just fucking all night. And I think Callan was up literally all night throwing up. Like, every fucking 20, 30 minutes he was puking.
Yeah.
So then we get up the next morning, and they both look like death,
right?
Like hot ass, just
They've
not
been through
in
the
good
shit.
shape. Yeah, they both got the fucking squirts. They're both throwing up. I'm like, fucking great, you know, like what the fuck, right? Like,
but you're fine still.
At this point, I feel good. Like I'm okay. She's like, well, you know, you got because we bought 2-day passes to Kennedy, and paid for a buffet that was a meet and greet with an astronaut. It was like lunch with an astronaut. Oh. So you get a buffet, and you do the thing, and you meet the astronaut, there's Q&A, and you know, like signatures and pictures and shit.
He won't be saying anything or doing anything.
Not that old. But, so, and it was one of the younger, newer age astronauts. But,
I've never been in space, so keep your questions
to the ground. So the wife goes, you know, well, if you feel good or if you feel okay, you might as well go, and we'll stay here, and you at least go enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, okay, are you sure you don't need anything before I go, right? And she's like, yeah, no, we'll be fine. And I go, okay, cool. And I went to go get, I don't know if I went to the store to get like some Pedialyte some and crackers and shit. Yeah, get her some supplies. I was like, I'm going to go to the store and get you some stuff. And then when I get back, if you guys are, you know, still feeling bad, I'll go. Then I get in the car, I go to Walmart, and by the time I got back, I was like, uh-oh.
Here it comes.
Like, I don't feel good now. Right? Like, and I was adamant that I felt fine. And I was like, no, I got to take a shit, and I'm pretty sure it's not going to be good.
Solid.
So I go, I didn't throw up like the whole time though, right? So I go and I got the shits now too. Everybody else is, you know, still didn't feel good. Well, now we have to check out of the room because the plan was to check out of the room first thing in the morning, go to Kennedy, and then drive to Pensacola that day.
Okay.
Pensacola's like 6 hours away. 8+ hours with kids in a car.
And everyone's sick.
Everyone's sick. So like last minute, pack everything up. We have like 5 minutes to spare. We're walking out, loading the shit in the car, get on the road. We don't get to Pensacola till like 10. We stopped in some fucking podunk little town at McDonald's or whatever because we all had to get out of the car. It was like we've been in the car for so fucking long. Everybody's fussy. The baby needs changed. He was getting better, we thought. At that point, he wasn't throwing up. Right. And I'm like, okay, we're good. And I was like, I don't feel good. Because I had been like eating crackers. Like I didn't feel good in my stomach. And I wasn't really hungry, but I was trying to keep it down. And like eating some crackers, drink some Gatorade, some water, trying to chill. The wife was driving. We get to fucking McDonald's and I'm like, I wanted a cheeseburger, but I couldn't eat it. Because I was like,
you were going to keep it down.
Good. I don't think it's going to stay. So then I fucking get sick. I throw up. Then we get back in the car. 3.5 hours more to fucking Pensacola. We get there, roll into the condo, throw whatever shit we had to have that night into the room, and all 4 of us just piled on one bed and just passed out. Because we were just all fucking spent. Like, everybody was dead. Wake up the next morning, everybody's fine. 100%. Right back to fucking normal.
Sleep will do it.
It's weird.
Well, I mean, like, sometimes, I mean, you're throwing up and you can't really get the chance to stay down long enough to sleep. Mm-hmm. So, like, the last time I got sick, I took some Pepto pills and some, like, sleeping pills, like Tylenol PM.
Right.
and I noticed that whenever I go to sleep, it gives your body time to repair. Yeah. So you might still be sick when you wake up, but at least
you feel better.
Yeah, the groundwork's starting to build towards getting better.
So everybody was done puking. Nobody felt bad anymore. My guts were still kind of churny, but not. I wasn't doing anything, so like fuck it. So we just moved on, and we went. I think the wife went to the. She go to the grocery store, I think, because what we did was we rented a condo in Navarre Beach, which is like 30 minutes outside of Pensacola, on the it's on the Gulf Coast side of the Panhandle, and we rented a condo for 4 days, and
how long were you on vacation for?
11 days.
Jesus Christ!
Yeah. It was fucking badass, dude.
That sounds badass.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I've been working in overtime. This is my first full weekend.
I haven't.
I feel like I've been on vacation. Although I did go on vacation during Christmas.
That's true.
I took the 2 weeks. But I mean, like, shit, I came back to work to overtime after that.
I usually, when we go on vacation, we usually do like a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
Right.
So we're not missing a bunch of work.
And you throw your weekend in there with it.
You throw your weekend in with it, and then you get like a 7-ish day or 8-ish day vacation.
Yeah.
But you only have to take like 3 days off to do it.
Right.
This was the first time that I've been like Friday through an entire week, and then a couple of days on the other end. So like that was a lot of time off. But, I get unlimited PTO as long as I can get it approved and my work is covered. As long as it's okay.
You get unlimited PTO?
Yeah.
Holy shit. Must be nice to be you.
That's why I went to college. That's not true. But it's one of those things like in the industry, like it's very common in my industry for people to burn out. Because I might not work 10 or 12 hours a day every day, but sometimes I'll work, regularly 10 hours straight through, where you don't leave for lunch, you just stay. Like this week was a fucking good example. Like Wednesday, Thursday, I worked from fucking almost 8 to 6 without leaving my desk. Mm-hmm. Like I left my desk to go get a Coke and to take a piss, and that was it. I didn't even get up to eat. So some days are fucked like that. Those 2 days I didn't even go outside to have a cigarette. Like I was fucking stuck at my desk because everything was so broken. And then sometimes I got to go in on the weekend unexpectedly. Sometimes I got to wake up and work in the middle of the night. So and there's so much to do that you end up burning yourself out doing shit like that so frequently. I'm surprised that you're not burned out, to be honest with you.
Oh, well, like right now, I'm on the tail end of a cold. And I think it's just from stress and work and everything. Like trying to plan a vacation for everybody to the Philippines, and like I got a hernia now that I got to deal with.
Oh no, that's fucked.
So like and like that stressed me out about like, but I need every little bit of vacation time that I have, and I need every little bit of money that I made from work to save for the Philippines. Like I pay for everybody. So and Rose is constantly gone now with her dad and her parents being here, and her dad's like in the hospital, like he got his surgery, and now it's just and all this overtime, and like I need the overtime, but now they just canceled the overtime, so now I'm probably not gonna have all the money I need, and I might not have all the hours I need, and like when and if I go and have this hernia surgery,
then you're gonna be down anyway.
I'm gonna be down.
Take time off and.
Yeah, so potentially take time off.
They have, they're big enough to have FMLA, right?
Yeah.
So make sure you file for that.
Right, no, absolutely.
File for the hardship, file for the FMLA, do what you can to at least bolster that portion of the seminar.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a thing for sure. But like all of it, I think it killed me, and then I got this cold for the first time in like 2 years. So yeah. So I got all that stress.
Yeah, that's fucked.
Like Rose is like I never see her anymore. Like what weekends that we have. Like she'll go and she's with her dad or something.
Yeah.
So, like my life is upside down at the moment.
Oh, it is a season of life. This too shall pass.
Yeah, I think this will be like a bad year, and then it'll be a good year next year. It seems to go every other year. You'll have a bad year, and then you'll have a good year, a bad year, good year. So I think this is going to be one of those bad years.
Yeah.
So like it's like we got big plans.
And then shit hits the fan.
Shit hits the fan unbelievably. Like everything that I try to do, like I was able to pull off that fucking trip last year.
Right.
Like, it's a miracle if I can pull off this one. And most likely, probably not going to happen.
Yeah. Well.
But it will have a good head start
so put it
for
off
next
till
year.
Next year, and then you'll be really in good shape by the time you actually get there, as long as you keep your traction.
Right.
So. Yeah. So, and it was kind of an ad hoc, like, hurry up and do it trip.
For you?
For us. Because we found out that the babysitter was going to be closed for a week.
The babysitter?
Our babysitter that watches the baby during the day. She was taking that same week
off.
I
see.
So she was going to be closed.
Do it now.
One of us was going to have to take the whole week off to watch the baby. So it's like, well, if one of us is going to take the week off, the other one might as well take the week off.
Right.
If we're both going to take the week off, we might as well fucking go somewhere. She's got family out there in Pensacola.
Why don't you guys go to the Philippines with us?
Oh, fuck, there's no way we can do it this year.
Well, like I said, this might go until next year.
Right.
Especially with this coronavirus thing going on over in the
I don't know.
The Asians.
It happened like right as we were getting ready to leave too. Like 2 days before we're getting ready to get on a fucking airplane to go to the East Coast through 3 international airports. It's like, oh yeah, coronavirus, blah, 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 travel, oh, fucking really? Like, I'm getting ready to go out of town, like, for the first time, like, on an airplane in, like,
Ever.
10 years.
Yeah.
Or not 10 years, but, like, 3
like a real flight.
To fly somewhere, and now I have this fucking plague to fucking deal with.
Well, I keep Googling Philippines and coronavirus, and there's nothing really...
It hasn't gotten there yet?
No, they shut them off, too.
Yeah, well...
But it doesn't mean it can't get through.
Right. So, luckily, I don't think anybody got that. So far.
Do they have a... Have you been following it? Do they have a cure? Or like,
I don't know a whole lot about it.
Because, like, people are dropping left and right.
Like the Chinese... what I do know is the Chinese are not too fond of people reporting on it inside of China right now. So, we don't know everything.
Right. Okay.
Our
So, what we know is still not...
is incomplete from them.
Okay.
Because really, the outbreak is from there.
Right.
It happened there.
Right.
They've brought it everywhere else that it is, and their government is not allowing their media to report on it completely. So we really don't know everything about it. So until it gets to a point where our media can report the entirety, we probably won't know until further notice.
Right.
So that kind of scares me. If they're keeping it that quiet, how bad is it? Is what I want to know.
France reports first coronavirus death outside Asia. 2 hours ago.
The flu kills people too.
Sure, people die from everything, dude. But
exactly.
But this is pretty big. The new coronavirus disease, goats and soda.
What?
How patients die after contracting COVID-19. The new coronavirus disease, goats and soda.
Interesting.
American diagnosed with coronavirus after being cleared to leave cruise ship. Huh.
So, yeah, I don't know if there's
getting bigger. Who knows? This is Captain Trips that's going to take us over. Maybe this is how we die.
I mean, this is how it begins.
How it begins in the fucking most populated fucking country in the world. Right?
It's either China or India. I don't know who's in the lead right now.
So, I mean...
Yeah, I mean, it would be one of those population epicenters that would take everyone out.
It's like The Stand. Yeah. Have you seen The Stand or read the book?
I saw the movie a long time ago.
That's what this is. This is The Stand. It's happening. Yeah. Stephen King was right.
Do you remember... what the fuck was that other movie? No, that's not really applicable.
What movie?
World War Z.
Oh.
Not my favorite. Not my favorite zombie movie. But Brad Pitt was good.
Well, Brad Pitt's good in everything, but that movie was garbage. Especially if you read the book. Have we talked about this?
We should, if we haven't. I think we did because I read the book like as soon as it came out.
Right. So the movie is almost like a prequel to the book.
Right.
How long have we been going? Almost 2 hours? Should we call it a day?
Yeah. I think
battery's almost dead on this.
Yeah, I think we better get out before it's too late.
All right.
But yeah, so everybody's healthy and back in town again, and
for now, to be continued. Question mark. Famous last words.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
I'm Matt Bonta.